I paid 110,000 for his wedding. Then he texted me not to show up.
My son texted me the night before his wedding. It broke my heart. It also sealed his fate. Dad, don't come tomorrow. Jessica says your blue-collar look will embarrass her family. I didn't reply. I didn't call him. I just opened my laptop. I clicked one button. That click turned their dream wedding into a bad dream. If the people you sacrificed forever look down on you, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Tell me in the comments if you agree with my choice. I sat at my kitchen table. I had shoe polish and an old rag. The room smelled of wax and leather. It also smelled a bit like sawdust. That smell never leaves a man like me. It was Friday night. I live in a small house near Detroit. The house is fully paid for. It is very quiet here. It has been empty since my wife Margaret died 6 years ago. My navy blue suit hung on the kitchen door. It was 8 years old. I got it dry cleaned for tomorrow. My son Tyler was getting married. I am 68 years old. My name is Arthur Wisniewski. I rubbed the rag in tiny circles on my shoe. I wanted to look nice. I'm a retired builder. I worked hard for 38 years. I had cracked hands and a sore back. I poured concrete and built frames. I did this so my son would not have to. I wanted him to have soft hands to sign checks. I didn't want him to have rough hands from hard work. I did a good job. Tyler is 30. His suits cost more than my first car. He drives an Audi. I pay for it. He tells his friends he bought it with his bonus. I checked the wall clock. It was 7:00 p.m. I hoped for a call. Maybe he would be excited. Maybe he would say thanks. I sent $110,000 to the wedding venue. It was called the Royal Crest. I sent it 60 hours ago. It paid the deposit and the rest of the bill. Jessica, my future daughter-in-law, picked the Royal Crest. She said no other place was good enough. My phone buzzed on the table. It shook the wood. I wiped my hands with a towel. I picked up the phone. I smiled. Tyler sent a text. I put on my glasses. I read his text. I read it once more. I took my glasses off. I cleaned them. I put them back on. I read it a third time. Dad, I am very sorry. Jessica is really stressed. She says seeing you there will make her nervous. Her family is high society from Boston. You know you are a bit too working class. They feel weird around people who look like manual workers. It is best if you stay home. I will send pictures. Love, Tyler. I stared at my phone. The screen turned black. The kitchen was suddenly very quiet. It felt like I couldn't breathe. Too working class. Those words stayed in my mind. I looked at my hands. They have thick calluses. A saw cut my left thumb in '98. My neck is always tan from the hot sun. These hands built Tyler's childhood home. These hands changed his diapers when Margaret was ill. These hands paid for his fancy school and his college. And these hands signed the $110,000 check yesterday. I wasn't mad at first. My stomach felt cold and heavy. I felt like a man who built a home on bad ground for 30 years. Tyler lacked the guts to call. He just sent a text. He dumped his dad with a brief text. I have been his only parent for 6 years. I thought about Jessica. She is 24. She acts like royalty. She claims her family has old money. She uses a fake accent from TV. She treats waiters like dirt. Tyler trails her like a lost dog. He is weak. I raised him to be nice. But his kindness became weakness. I stood up. My knees made a cracking sound. I went to the fridge. I grabbed a beer, then I put it back. I needed a stronger drink. I got my whiskey. I poured a big glass. I drank it all at once. The harsh burn woke me up. I saw the suit on the door. It seemed like a joke outfit now. It was a clown suit for a fool. I walked over. I grabbed the hanger. I took it to the hall closet. I hid it behind my thick coats. I would not need a suit tomorrow. I returned to the table. I grabbed my phone. My thumb rested on the call button. I wanted to yell. I wanted to ask why he did this. But I paused. There was no point. Begging my son to invite me meant I lost. Pride is all a lonely man has. They would not hear me cry. They would not hear me shout. I went to my small desk. I opened my laptop. The screen lit up the dark room. I signed into my bank. People see an old guy in a denim shirt. They see my Chevrolet Silverado with a rusty bumper. They see a man mowing his own lawn. They see me use coffee coupons. They don't know the real me. 28 years ago, I built a big supply business. I bought cheap land. I sold it for a huge profit. I owned 3 large apartment buildings. I also owned big warehouses. I retired 6 years ago, but my money kept working. Tyler thinks I barely survive on a small pension. He thinks his credit card only holds $6,500. He thinks I struggle to pay his bills. He thinks the $110,000 wedding check took all my cash. He thinks he is bleeding me dry. He thinks my love makes me blind. Is wrong. I checked my bank list. I wanted to see how they spent my working class money. The list was huge. It made me sick. I saw $5,200 for a fancy spa. That was 2 days ago. Jessica and her mom got the best treatments. I haven't spent $5,200 on myself in 4 years. I saw $15,000 for flights. First-class seats from Boston for Jessica's parents. Tyler said they were rich. If they are rich, why did I buy their tickets? Why did I pay for snobs to mock me? I saw $3,900 at the Velvet Room. That was last night's pre-wedding dinner. They didn't invite me to that dinner either. Tyler claimed it was a tiny group, but the bill showed 20 guests. 20 guests ate ribeye and shrimp. They spent my money. I ate a smoked turkey sandwich alone at home. I kept scrolling. I saw $650 for a limo. It was for a morning airport trip. That was for the rich parents who couldn't hire a cab. Then I saw the huge pending charge, $110,000. The Royal Crest. I stared at the sum. That pays for a whole college degree. That buys a small house. That was my blood and sweat. They used it for a party. I wasn't even allowed to go. I checked the date. I sent the money yesterday morning. It was a bank transfer. People think transfers are fast. They aren't. They take time. You have a short window to stop them. You can stop them for fraud. This was a fake deal. It was a lie to my heart. I moved my mouse. My hand did not shake. I aimed like a sniper. I clicked the $110,000 charge. A small menu appeared. I hit dispute. The site asked why. I typed one word. Unauthorized. It was the truth. I agreed to pay for my son's wedding. I didn't agree to fund a party that banned me. The father-son deal was broken. I clicked submit. The page reloaded. The transfer was canceled. The money stayed safe. The Royal Crest would learn about the failed cash in the morning. I wasn't finished. I opened the credit card page. Tyler kept this card in his wallet. He used it to impress Jessica. He bought her love with it. I checked the total debt. He spent $26,000 just last month. He bought flowers, suits, and gems. I clicked on the user settings. I saw his name, Tyler Wisniewski. A small switch said active. I clicked it. It changed to inactive, but I wanted total safety. He would try to swipe the card tomorrow. He would try to buy flowers, makeup, and drinks. I wanted the card to be dead plastic. I clicked report stolen. The bank asked if I needed a new card. I clicked no. I leaned back. The room was quiet. In my mind, a heavy blade just fell. I closed the bank page. I opened my email. I saw a note about the Maple Avenue house. Tyler and Jessica live there. They think they rent from a big firm. They don't know I own the place. I bought it 4 years ago with a fake company name. I wanted them to have a nice home. I pay most of their rent. They pay $1,300 each month. The real price is $3,900. I cover the rest out of my own pocket. I typed a new email. I wrote to the manager. His name is Harrison. He is my lawyer and a good pal. The subject line was eviction notice. Harrison, type a 38-day notice for the Maple Avenue house. Also, raise the rent to full price right now. No special deals. Send it in the morning. Arthur. I hit send. It was over. In 10 short minutes, I wrecked my son's fake rich life. I shut the laptop. I felt weird. I thought I might feel bad. A dad must guard his son. But a dad must also teach him. I never taught Tyler to be thankful. I never taught him respect. Now life will teach him. Life is a harsh boss. I went back to the kitchen. I cleaned my glass. I put it on the rack. I hid the shoe polish under the sink. My phone buzzed again. I walked to it. Tyler was calling. He was probably at a bar. Maybe he was drinking with friends. Or maybe the barkeep just rejected his card. His face popped up on the screen. It was an old photo. We went fishing 6 years ago. He smiled. I smiled. We looked like a real team. I watched the phone shake on the table. It buzzed and buzzed. Then it stopped. Soon a text arrived. Dad, call me. My card is broken. I read the text. He didn't ask how I felt. He didn't say sorry for his cruel ban. He only cared about the money. That told me everything. I pressed the power button on my phone. I held it until the screen died. I flipped off the kitchen switch. I walked to my bedroom. I walked past old photos, pictures of Margaret, pictures of Tyler at school, pictures of a fake happy life. I got into bed. The sheets felt cold. I pulled up my blanket. Tomorrow will be awful for Tyler Wisniewski. Tomorrow he will wake up. He will wear an unpaid suit. He will go to a hall waiting for a $110,000 check. That check will never arrive. He will stand near his rich new family. His card will be dead. His big lie will burst. I won't be there to save him. I closed my eyes. For the first time in 30 years, I didn't worry about my boy. I didn't stress about his life. I did all I could. I fell asleep. I heard the wind blow. A storm was coming. It truly was. But the storm wouldn't hit my house. It would destroy his. The morning sun burned off the mist. It was 7:00 a.m. It was my son's wedding day. Many dads would be dressing up. They would check their watches. They might drink coffee and plan a speech. Not me. I was in my yard. I pulled the cord on my 18-year-old Honda lawn mower. The engine coughed. Then it roared loudly. It broke the quiet morning air. I loved the loud noise. It meant hard work. It meant trust. That machine always worked. The people coming soon did not. I fixed my hat. I pulled the brim down. I pushed the mower over the grass. I smelled gas and fresh cut weeds. It felt real. It showed me who I am. I am Arthur Wisniewski. I construct things. I repair things. Today I will break something down. I cut half the yard. Then I heard a loud screech. It was fast tires crying on the road. I didn't look up right away. I kept pushing the mower. I felt it shake. I knew the sound. I knew the loud engine. It was an Audi. It was a fast car worth over $130,000. I knew the exact price. I wrote the check 3 years ago. Tyler said he needed a good car for work. The dark car turned the corner very fast. It hit the brakes hard by my house. The tires made smoke. They left dark marks on my neat driveway. I stopped walking. I left the mower on. The engine kept running. I leaned on the bar. I waited. The car door popped open. Tyler jumped out. He looked awful. His hair was dirty and messy. He wore a rumpled shirt and old pants. He didn't look like a rich groom. He looked like a lost little boy. The other door opened. Jessica got out. She wore a purple silk tracksuit. It cost more than my mower. Huge glasses hid her face. She slammed the door hard. The heavy car shook. My teeth clenched. You shouldn't slam doors on cars you don't own. Arthur, she yelled. Her loud voice beat the mower noise. What is wrong with you? I reached down. I flipped the red switch. The mower stopped. The quiet felt thick. I took a slow breath. I smelled the gas one more time. I pulled a rag from my pocket. I wiped my wet brow. I stayed quiet. I stared at them. Tyler ran up my drive. His soft shoes slipped on the grass. Dad, he gasped. He stopped close to me. Dad, you must answer your phone. Why is it off? Do you know what is going on? I looked at him with calm eyes. I am mowing the lawn, Tyler. I need to focus. Jessica marched up. She ignored my eyes. She stared at her phone. She typed fast with long nails. She pushed the phone at me. Declined, she spat. Declined, do you grasp that word, Arthur? I sat at the salon. They just did my hair. It was still wet. I handed them the card. The small machine beeped loudly. Everyone stared. The hair girl, the clients, everyone. She stepped close to me. She smelled like costly spray and pure panic. It said stolen, she hissed. The little screen said stolen. They called me a crook. They wanted to call the cops, Arthur. I had to beg my dad to pay. My dad. On my big day. I folded my rag. I put it away. That sounds awful, I replied. My voice had no pity. Awful, she screamed. It was the worst. Call the bank now. Claim it was a glitch. Say you are a fool who clicked the wrong key. Fix it. Tyler stood between us. He raised his hands to calm things. Dad, please, time is short. The flower shop needs cash. The limo guy needs his fee. We owe many people today. Unlock the card. We will talk about your hurt feelings after the party. Hurt feelings. Those words floated there. He thought I was just grumpy. He thought I was confused. He didn't know his whole world just broke. I gazed at my son. I saw pure fear in his eyes. He didn't worry about his dad at all. He acted like a junkie losing his fix. I won't call the bank, I stated. Tyler blinked. What? I won't call them. The block was not an error. Tyler, I said it was stolen. Jessica made a weird choking noise. You what? Why do that? I learned a lesson last night, I said. I crossed my arms. Only a real crook takes $110,000 and bans the giver from dinner. Tyler turned white. He got it now. It was no mistake. It was payback. Dad, please. He whispered softly. You read the text. I am so sorry. It is tricky. Jessica's family is odd. They expect a lot. We wanted a flawless day. We didn't want you to feel weird. Feel weird, I echoed. You stand on my driveway. You drive my car. You wear my clothes. Yet I am the weird one, Jessica scoffed. She rolled her eyes hard. Oh, the sad victim routine. Listen, Arthur, we have no time for your working-class tears. We have rich guests coming from Martha's Vineyard. We are busy. You ruin things over hurt pride. Hand over the cash. Go back to your plants. You are right. You don't fit in. Look at you. You have grass stains. You look like the help. The help. I checked my boots. They had oil and mud on them. I checked my denim shirt. The elbows were pale. I looked at the Audi on the road. That car was my great pride. I worked 7 extra months to buy it with cash. I did it to save Tyler from debt. I kept the title for cheap insurance. I let him drive it daily. I let him act rich. You know, Jessica, I said in a deep voice, you are right. I am the help. I pay for your home. I pay for your trips. I pay for the car you just slammed. I walked right past them. I headed to the street. Where are you going? Tyler yelled loudly. Dad, where are you going? I walked to the Audi. I touched the warm hood. The motor made the metal hot. I checked the tires. Fancy rubber, $650 each. I bought those too. I dug in my pocket. I grabbed my keys. I hold a spare for all my cars. I hit unlock. The lights blinked. I opened the door. Dad, stop, Tyler screamed. He ran at me. We need that ride. We must get my friends soon. I sat down. The seats felt plush. They smelled like his spray and Jessica's scent. It smelled like pure greed. I turned the key. The dash glowed bright. Get out of the car, Arthur. Jessica shrieked. She ran down the drive. Her heels hit the cement hard. That is our car. You cannot take it. I put the window down. I stared at Tyler. He held the door handle tight. His hands turned pale. It is not your car, Tyler, I stated. It never was. It belongs to me. I own the paper. I pay the insurance. I am banned from your wedding, so my car is banned too. Dad, don't do this, Tyler begged. He had wet eyes. How will we reach the hall? How will we travel? I don't know, I answered. I put the car in drive. Call Jessica's rich dad. He must have an extra limo, or try the bus. It is cheap. It is very working class. I didn't wait. I hit the gas. The car jumped ahead. I left them in the road. I checked my mirror. Tyler stood still. His arms hung down. He looked so lost. Jessica waved her arms wildly. She screamed at the empty street. I drove the Audi around the block. I parked inside my garage. I shut the heavy door. I walked inside my house. I locked the front door. I went to the kitchen. I poured hot coffee. My hands shook a bit. I wasn't scared. I felt a rush. I shot first, but the war just started. I sat at the table. I checked my phone. It vibrated again. It was not Tyler. It was my home phone. I ignored it. I knew their next move. They would return to their home. They would make a new plan. They would search for things to sell. They would rush to Maple Avenue. They didn't know the truth. The locks would change in 25 minutes. I sipped my coffee. It tasted bitter. I like it that way. Today will be very long, but I felt excited for once. They wanted a fancy show. They wanted a rich party. I will give them a wild show. They won't ever forget it. I will show them what happens when the help quits. The phone went quiet. The silence came back. It was not calm. It felt like a lit fuse. The big boom would be huge. I stood up. I looked out the window. They walked away from my home. They fought hard. Jessica pushed Tyler. Tyler grabbed her arm. They looked tiny from here. They looked weak and mean. They headed to the bus stop. I felt a tiny bit of pity. Then I recalled the text. Don't come. You are too working class. I walked away from the glass. I had tasks to do. I had a party to crash. I needed my suit ready. If I am the bad guy, I will be a sharp bad guy. I went to the closet. I grabbed my navy blue suit. I put it on the bed. I touched the cloth. It was tough and fine, just like me. The game was new now. They didn't even know the rules. I stood in my kitchen. I heard the quiet. It didn't last. Hard knocks hit my front door. It was less than 10 minutes after taking the Audi. It was a frantic, loud beat. The door frame shook. They skipped the bus. They returned. They knew they were trapped. They had no cash. They had no ride. Time was running out. A huge disaster was near. I finished my drink. I put the cup away. I walked slowly to the door. I didn't rush. I won't rush for selfish people anymore. I unlocked the door. I opened it wide. Tyler stood there. He breathed hard. His face was very sweaty. Jessica stood behind him. She crossed her arms. Her costly clothes looked silly next to my old porch. She looked like a mad purple bird in a dirty mine. "Dad, stop it," Tyler croaked. "You pushed too hard. It was only a text, just a small plea. We meant no harm. You act crazy. Hand over the keys. Fix the cards. We have 1 hour left." I leaned on the door frame. I blocked their way. I watched my boy. He was 30 years old, but he looked like a crying baby in a store. "I am not crazy, Tyler," I spoke softly. "I act like a man who just kept $110,000. Jessica moved close. She pushed Tyler away. Her face showed mean wrinkles. "Listen here, greedy old man," she hissed. "You treat this like a game. You trap us here. You are sad. This is my special day. You wreck it all. You are too weak for the truth." "What truth, Jessica?" I asked. "The truth is you bring shame," she yelled. "Look at you, look at this dump. It smells like fat and wood dust. You wear cheap used clothes. You drive a trash truck. My parents have class. They fly here from Boston. They have rich friends. You could never join them. Do I want them to see you in my pictures? No. Do I want to tell my pals that you dig holes for cash? No." I stood still. I let her harsh words hit me. She tried to hurt me. She wanted to break me. But they didn't hurt. They just made my mind clear. All my doubt vanished. "I don't dig holes, Jessica," I replied. "I own the firm that digs them. I own the firm that pours the stone. I own the firm that makes walls, but you didn't care. You just liked my checkbook." "I don't care about your firms," she hissed. "You lack class, Arthur. You always did. You are cheap and ugly. We did you a favor with an invite. Now fix this mess. Give us the cash. You owe Tyler. You owe him a good life." "I owe him zero," I said. "I gave him life. I bought his schooling. I provided a home. He paid me back with a cruel text message." Tyler tried to fix it. "She didn't mean it, Dad. She is tense." "Shut your mouth, Tyler," Jessica snapped. "Stop babying him. He needs the truth." She glared at me with pure hate. "You will fund this party, Arthur. You will pay every single dime. If you refuse, you lose your son forever. You will die alone in this sad house." I stared at her. I saw greedy heat coming off her. Then I asked a simple question. It bothered me all night. "Why?" I asked. "What?" she barked. "Why fund a party that bans me?" She blinked fast. The question stumped her. "It is your job," she said. "Parents do that. They just pay." "No," I said. "Parents provide things. Fools just pay. I am no fool now." I grabbed my phone. It was old and cracked. Jessica sneered at it. "What now?" she asked. "Making a call," I said. I unlocked it. I found my list. I had few friends but good ones. I found Prestige Limos. I knew the boss. His name was Sal. We played cards for 18 years. I hit speaker. Jessica gasped. She knew the firm. It rang twice. "Arthur," Sal yelled cheerfully. "Nice to hear you. Is the pickup okay?" "Hey, Sal," I said. I stared at Jessica. "I call about the Wisniewski cars, the big Hummer and the 2 sedans for the airport." "Yes, boss," Sal said. "My men are at DTW now. The Boston flight just landed. We wait by the bags." Jessica's face turned white. Her rich parents walked to the bags now. They expected a driver with a sign. "Sal," I said, "plans have changed." "What changed, Arthur?" Sal asked. "Cancel the rides," I said. "Cancel," Sal was shocked. "Arthur, the men are there. Time is ticking." "I know, Sal," I replied. "I will pay the fee. Bill me. But do not drive those people." "Arthur, are you sure?" "It is the big day?" Sal asked. "I am sure, Sal," I said. "The backup card was my son's. It is stolen now. I also pull my own promise to pay. Send the men home." Sal went quiet. Then he sighed. "Okay, Arthur, you got it. I will tell them to leave. Sorry for the mess." "No mess, Sal. Thanks." I hung up. The next silence felt different. It wasn't a burning fuse. It was a blown bomb. Jessica made an awful noise. It was a wild, fearful screech. "You didn't," she gasped. Her hands hit her mouth. "You didn't leave them at DTW." I hid my phone. "I did," I replied. "They are rich, Jessica. They can hail a cab or they can ride the train. It runs fast. It is very working class." "My parents don't ride trains," she shrieked. She jumped at me. Tyler grabbed her waist. He pulled her back. She scratched the air. She aimed for my face. "You beast, you broke everything. They will stand like bums outside. They will despise me. They will despise you." "They don't know me," I answered. "With how you speak, they likely hate me anyway. I lose nothing." Tyler gave me a sad look. Dad, why they are our guests? This brings great shame. Shame, I said. Shame is cleaning shoes for a party you can't join. Shame is a son who hates the hands that fed him. This is not shame, Tyler. This is school. School. He yelled, you ruined me for a lesson. I ruined your fake life, I said. You acted like a big boss, Tyler. You picked a royal bride. Real bosses pay their own debts and royals don't wed poor men. Jessica stopped fighting him. She stood up tall. She smoothed her purple silk. Her face turned icy. Fine, she snapped. Fine, you play rough, Arthur, so will we. You think we will starve. You think we will beg. Wrong. We don't need you. We have the Maple Avenue house. We have our gifts. We will survive. Then we will vanish. You won't see any grandkids. You will die alone here. No one will care. I gave a sad, true smile. The Maple Avenue house, I said. Yes, the house, she yelled. Our home. I checked my watch. It was 8:15 a.m. You should go there now, I suggested. Why? She asked with doubt. At 8:00 a.m. a lock guy met the manager, I stated. They changed the locks. The paper was month to month. It was my name. I ended the deal. Tyler let go of her waist. He looked totally crushed. You kicked us out, he mumbled. No, I said. I just stopped housing strangers. Jessica said it well. I'm just a bank. The bank is shut. Jessica just stared. Her mouth moved wildly. No sound escaped. The huge truth finally hit her brain. No car, no haul, no ride for her folks. Now no home. Tyler stepped back. He stared at his childhood home. He stared at me. I saw pure fear in him now. Deep fear. He stood on a trap door. I just pulled the handle. You are mad, he said. You are fully mad. Eve, I said. I pointed at the street. Find her parents. Tell them why they waited DTW. Find a bed for tonight. Get off my lawn. I stepped inside. I shut the door. I locked it tight. I rested my head on the cool wood. My heart beat fast. It hurt badly. Hurting my own boy felt awful. I hated seeing his anger, but I looked at my hands. They built my whole life. They shook right now, not from fear, from anger. I stayed small for years so he could feel huge. I walked to the glass. I watched them leave. They ran down the drive. Tyler used his phone. He probably wanted a ride he couldn't buy. Jessica yelled loudly at him. She hit his arm. They looked like cornered rats. They fought each other on a sinking boat. I watched them vanish around the bend. I was alone again. It was very quiet, but it felt clean. The air felt fresh. I returned to the kitchen. I grabbed the shoe wax. I had one shoe left. I skipped the wedding, sure, but I still wanted shiny shoes. A man must stay ready. The fight wasn't over. They will visit Maple Avenue. They will find new locks. They will see bare walls. Margaret's paintings will be gone. Then the true war will start. I put the rag in the wax. Small circles, calm mind. I just started my work. Later, I drove to Maple Avenue. It took 25 minutes. I passed new shops. I passed old fields where I played long ago. I parked my Chevrolet Silverado nearby. The home looked nice. I put new sides on it 4 years ago. The blue parts cost a lot but last long. The grass was bright green. The glass was clean. It was a great first home. Many couples would love it. I gave it to them for very cheap. I spotted them right away. They stood on the porch. Jessica hit the heavy door. She slapped it hard. She screamed at the dumb wood. Tyler walked back and forth. His hands pulled his hair. He looked like a man who lost everything to fire. They skipped DTW. They skipped hotels. They came to test my bluff. They hoped the old key worked. It failed. Harrison is a great manager. 800 means 800. I got out of my... Beat up an old man. Try it. But recall who taught you to fight. I spent 38 years busting rock. You just played games. He stopped moving. He looked at the steel, then at my face. He saw a new look in my eyes. His safety net was gone. I was not his dad right then. I was just a man. He knew he would lose that fight. His anger faded. He felt empty. He stepped back. His hands shook. You are mad, he said softly. You are threatening me. I am not, I said. I lowered the tool but kept a tight grip. I am staying safe. It is different. Jessica ran across the yard. Her shoes dug deep into the lawn I paid for. She grabbed Tyler's arm. She pulled him back. Tyler, stop, she yelled. Real fear filled her eyes. He is crazy. He has a weapon. Let's leave. We will call the cops later. We must get to the hall. My folks are waiting. We must fix this. She was right. Time was short. More talk meant social ruin for them. I watched them back away. They moved to the sidewalk like I was a sick dog. Listen, I yelled, my voice echoed. I give you 32 hours. They stopped and turned. 32 hours, I said again. Harrison comes tomorrow at noon. He will open the door for exactly 60 minutes. Grab your clothes and your own stuff. The rest goes in the trash. But the couches, Jessica cried. The TV are gifts. The couches are mine, I said. I paid for them. The TV is mine, the gifts. Take those. You can sell them for cash when you have no bed. I stepped close. They jumped. Leave now, I told them. Get off my road. Go act rich with her family. Let's see if that helps. Tyler stared at me once more. No love showed in his face, just pure hate. That was fine. I could take hate. I could not take disrespect. Come on, Jessica, he said. He took her hand. Let's leave. We can fix this. We don't need him. They ran down the block. They hoped to find a cab or cell signal to call a ride they had no funds for. I watched them leave. I stood in the road holding the heavy steel clippers. Mrs. Gable peeked from her window across the way. I gave a nod. She dropped the curtain. I walked up my drive. I went to the front door. I read the note Harrison taped there. Lease ended. It was real. It was done. I took out my main key. I did not need Harrison. I owned this house. I unlocked it and went in. The air felt old. It smelled like costly wax and trash. Clothes covered the floor. Pizza boxes hid the table. It looked like a teen dorm, not a married home. I walked past the mess. I stared at the walls. Blank spots stared back. Bright rectangles of clean paint stood out. I stopped. My heart jumped. I moved to the hall, more blank spots. I went to the bedroom. 4 years ago, I hung art over the bed. It showed the lake cabin we loved. Margaret painted it the summer before she fell ill. The world did not care about it, but it meant the world to me. Her soul lived in that paint. It was missing. I looked around fast. The flower art was gone. Tyler's boy sketch was gone. I ran to the wood box on the chest. It sat open and bare. Margaret's pearl chain, my gift for our 28th year, was missing. I felt freezing cold. Then I burned hot. They didn't just drain my cash. They sold my life. I looked down. A small slip hid under the bed. I grabbed it. Yellow copy paper, city pawn in gold, 3 oil canvases, 1 pearl chain, 1 gold watch. Cash given $1,500. I stared hard at the digits. $1,500. They traded my wife's past. They sold all I had left of her for $1,500. Maybe they wanted red roses and lilies or a top DJ. My grief vanished. My doubt faded. This was not about a party. This was not rudeness. This was theft. I grabbed my phone. I called Harrison. Arthur, he said. I swapped the locks. They left. I know Harrison, I said. My voice shook, but not from fear. I am inside the house. I need a quick favor. What is it, Arthur? Write a crime report, I said. Grand theft. Arthur, are you sure? He is your boy. I looked at the blank spot where Margaret's art once hung. I touched the cold wall. He is not my boy today, I said. He is a crook. Type the forms. Call the cops. Have them meet me at the Royal Crest. You plan to go there? Harrison asked. Yes, I said. I must drop off a gift. I ended the call. The yellow slip went in my pocket. I left and locked up. I climbed into my Chevrolet Silverado. I had a job to do. I parked my truck by the curb on Maple Avenue. I cut the gas. A heavy quiet filled the air. It felt like the calm before rain. I sat tight. I gripped the wheel and stared. It was a strong home. I bought it cheap 4 years ago. I spent 7 months fixing it myself. I scraped the wood floors. I put up walls. I set new glass. It was meant to be a gift. A good start for Tyler and Jessica. Now it looked like a locked fort. I got out and walked up the drive. Dark oil marks stained the cement. Tyler never wiped them up. I found my keys. I picked the brass one for the main door. It was my backup key. I pushed it in. It jammed halfway. I shook it. I pushed hard. It hit solid steel. They swapped the locks. I stood on the steps and stared. A dry laugh left my mouth. It held no joy, just shock. They stayed here for free. They drove my cars. They used my cash. Their fix for a fight was to lock me out of my own home. Their nerve was huge. They thought holding the house made it theirs. They thought locking me out kept the dream safe. I took my phone. I did not ring Tyler. I did not ring Jessica. Yelling at wood does no good. I found an old number. Dave, the lock guy, picked up fast. "Arthur," he said, "how can I help?" "Meet me on Maple Avenue, Dave," I said. "Bring your drill, bring tough new locks." I stayed on the porch. I stood still. I did not peek inside. I stood like a guard. Cars drove by slow. People saw my work gear. I gave no wave. I had no time for small talk. I just wanted in. Dave drove up in 25 minutes. He was a large man. He picked locks here for 28 years. He looked at me, then at the door. He asked nothing. He knew who owned the land. He knew who paid him. "Keys gone, Arthur?" he asked. He grabbed his tool. "Sort of," I said. "The renters made some bold changes. I must look around." Dave gave a nod. He went to the wood. The tool screamed into the steel. It was loud. It ripped through the expensive new lock Tyler bought. Bits of metal fell on the mat. It took little time. The lock broke with a snap. Dave pushed the door open. "Thanks, Dave," I said. "I paid him. Put in the new ones. Give me the sole key." I walked in. The bad scent hit fast. Flat crystal, costly spray, and trash. It smelled like a sad, long bash. The shades hid the sun. The room was dark. I flipped the switch. The mess was huge. They did not smash things in anger. They just lived like pigs. That was much worse. Clothes hid the floor. Fancy coats draped the chairs. Silk gowns lay in heaps. Tall stacks of shoe boxes leaned on the paint. Old food boxes covered the low table. Bugs flew near them. I walked deeper. My boots broke clear glass. A smashed cup lay on the rug. I stepped past it. This was their real life. Online, they faked wealth. Here, they were trashing a fine home. They treated my house like they treated me. They gave zero care. I checked the kitchen. Plates filled the sink. A warm half bottle of crystal sat near them. I saw the stone tops I put in. Stains and rings marred the gloss. I checked the wood doors. One hung loose. Cold anger filled my chest. This was not just a mess, it was pure disrespect. Each scratch and stain proved they hated my hard work. Then I saw a worse thing. The mess no longer mattered. I went back to the front room. I stared at the walls. I had left some nice goods for them. Couches, mostly. But also art. Margaret liked to paint. She was not pro, but she made scenes look soft and bright. She painted our trips. Lakes, hills, and calm spots we loved. I stared over the firebox. A clean square marked the wall. Her Vermont light tower scene was gone. I spun fast. I checked the hall space. The wild plant field was gone too. My chest pounded hard, not from fear. It was pure dread. I dashed down the hall. I kicked a pile of dirty clothes. I ran into the main bedroom. Fancy sheets tangled on the bed. Open bags sat on the rug, half full. I ignored them. I stared over the wood chest. Margaret's face. The art she made for our 32nd year. She wore that sly smile she saved for me. It was missing. I stood dead center. I turned slow. Bare paint mocked me. Every canvas was absent. Small nails stuck out. I ran to the clothes closet. I yanked the doors wide. I pulled out the small drawers I built in. Empty. Margaret's pearl chain, her gem studs, the gold watch from Tyler's birth. All gone. I gasped for air. The room felt tight. They didn't just drain my funds. They robbed me blind. They took all I had left of my sweet Margaret. Why take plain art? It held no big cash value. It was just family joy. Unless they needed quick cash. Cash for cars, drinks, and red roses and lilies at a party I could not attend. I sank to the rug. I tore into the room. I ripped off the sheets. I dumped the bags. I needed a clue. I checked the small tables. Only coins and small papers sat inside. Papers. I grabbed bits from the trash bin. I made them flat. Food slips, clothes wash bills, a fine. Then I saw a bright ball. A yellow copy slip tossed like trash. I made it flat. My hands shook bad. The top badge showed 2 scales, city pawn and loan. I read the neat text. Line 1, oil canvas of shore. Line 2, oil canvas of plants. Line 3, face art. Line 4, old pearl chain. Line 5, gold female watch. I read the bottom sum, $1,500. They traded my wife's spirit. They sold 38 years of sweet past. They dumped the memory of a woman who adored Tyler so much. They sold it for $1,500 just to buy small snacks or a better party room. I sat low and held the slip fast. My hot anger turned into ice. My mind grew so hard and sharp it scared me. This was not a dad and son spat now. It was not about a skipped invite. It was raw crime. I stood up tall. The paper went into my pocket. I scanned the space once more. Bare walls stared back. I did not see Tyler's room now. I saw a thief's den. I walked out. I went down the hall. I passed Dave at the front door. "Lock it up, Dave," I said. My voice did not shake. "Lock it all. No one gets in, even if they cry for it." I walked to my truck. I grabbed my phone. I called my guy. Harrison picked up fast. "Arthur, did you get inside?" "I did," I said. "Harrison, I need a fast fix from you." "What is it, Arthur?" "I hold a pawn slip," I told him. "Tyler stole his mom's gems. He took her art and sold it." Quiet filled the line. Then Harrison spoke deep and low. "Arthur, that is grand theft. He will do real time." I stared at the house. I saw the glass where Margaret used to wave at me. "Type up the forms, Harrison," I said. "Call the cops. I want to press charges. Tell them to wait at the Royal Crest." "You are going there?" Harrison asked. "Yes," I said. I fired the motor. "I am going to the hall. The cops can grab him there." "Arthur, wait," Harrison warned. "At the party, that is huge." I shifted the gear. "They sold Margaret for $1,500, Harrison. Going huge is my last play." I cut the call. I did not look back. I drove to the big city. The sun shone bright. It was a fine day to wed and a fine day for cold truth. I stood in the main room. The quiet weighed heavy. The clean spots where Margaret's art hung looked like bad cuts. They were deep wounds. I felt a strong pain in my chest. It was pure grief. I needed proof. I needed to see their bad deeds on paper. I walked to a cheap desk. Jessica had bought it. I had offered to build a strong wood one. She liked the cheap look. Papers hid the top. Closed mail, thick bridal books, trips to Grand Islands. A shrine to their fake life. I dug in hard. I swept the books to the rug. I tore open the mail. Past due power bills. Final warnings from banks. Debt claims on a big loan. It was grim. They were not just poor, they were sinking fast. They choked on fake wealth. They used the big day to gasp for air. They bet on big gifts to clear the red ink. Or they hoped I would die soon and leave them my cash. I tugged the top drawer. Food menus and cords jammed it tight. I pulled hard. It broke off and fell. A small box hid deep in the dark gap. I grabbed it. I popped the top. A mess of slips filled the inside, pawn slips. My hands shook as I dug in. The first slip had a date 4 months back. Gold wrist links marked all. My links. My gift for Tyler's school finish. My dad's links. Tyler sold them for $260. I found the next slip. 3 months back. A silver tea set, Margaret's set. Her grandmom brought it from Ireland, sold for parts. I felt sick. I dug deep. I sought the freshest slip. The one to explain the bare walls. It sat at the base. It bore yesterday's date. The ink felt fresh. City pawn and loan, a long list of my wife's life. Line 1, oil scene of a coast. Line 2, oil plant scene. Line 3, gold charm with gem. Line 4, pearl loop. I stared hard, the words blurred, the charm. I bought it for Margaret when she carried Tyler. I worked long shifts for 7 months to pay the cost. We sat on our rug eating pie that night. We had no table yet. She cried big tears. She wore it each day. In the sick ward, her skin hurt. She gave it to me. "Give this to Tyler's bride later," she said. "Tell her it's worth." I gave it to Jessica at the ring meal. I told the long tale. I said it stood for deep love. She sold it. She traded my wife's deep love for quick cash. I read the final payout. $1,500 in full. That was the cheap price of my past, my wife's worth. They did not starve. They did not need rent or pills. I looked close at the paper. A flower bill clung to it. Lily and Rose upgrade for the top table. Cost $260. I gave a harsh, wet laugh. They traded Margaret's charm for blooms. They traded her fine art for plants that die fast. They erased my sweet wife just to look rich to fake friends. I sat on the messy bed. I gripped the pawn slip tight. The thin sheet burned my hands. For years I made sad excuses for Tyler. He is young, I thought. He feels stress. He finds the new world hard. He is still my tiny boy with a fake hammer, but that boy was dead now. A strange man lived here. He stole from his dead mom to show off. I stared at the bare wall. I almost saw Margaret's eyes. She was so gentle. "Have patience, Arthur," she used to urge. "Let him learn." But this was no mere slip. A slip is a missed bill. A slip is a loud word in a fight. This was a cold plan. They chose a fake show over blood. It was a vile act. I felt the dad rope snap, that thick tie of pure love frayed and died. I was no dad now, not with this sad slip. I was just a robbed man. I folded the form neat. I pressed the lines sharp. I tucked it deep in my denim shirt near my heart. It felt like stark proof. I stood tall. My joints felt good. I felt fierce. I felt numb. The tears were done. Only a sharp, cold drive stayed. I went to the wood chest. A frame held Tyler and Jessica. They smiled on a big boat. Dark glasses hid their eyes. They held drinks. They looked so glad. I took the print out. I tore it square down the middle. I tore the parts again. I dropped the bits on their huge mess. I left the room. I marched down the bare hall. I did not gaze at the missing art spots. I did not need to. I had the proof. I exited the house. I locked Dave's new deadbolt fast. The sharp click sounded like a steel cell. I strolled to my Chevrolet Silverado. Bright sun hit the metal hood. It was a fine day to wed. I got in the cab. I grabbed the phone. My grip felt firm. I found Harrison's name. I did not call to cry. I called to wage a war. The lesson phase was done. The harsh pain phase had begun. I hit call. Harrison picked up right away. "Arthur, did you get in?" I checked the home one final time. "I got in, Harrison. I found my proof." "What did you find?" "I found the price tag. I see what my worth is to them. I see Margaret's worth too." A brief silence hung. "Arthur, you sound odd." "I am new, Harrison. The Arthur who pays the bills is dead. The blind Arthur is dead." "What is your next move?" "I will hit that party, but not as a guest, not as a dad." "Then what are you going as?" I fired up the truck. The strong motor gave a loud roar. It matched my mood. "I am going as the repo man, Harrison, and I will collect." The phone felt like lead. I aimed the truck at the main road. The big city buildings reached high. Steel and glass hit the clear sky. Harrison sat in one of those tall spots. My son waited in a silk room for a check that did not exist. I pushed call again. It rang twice. Harrison picked up. He sounded out of breath. "Arthur," he begged, "tell me you kept cool. Tell me you just looked and left." I drove in the middle lane. My eyes watched the street. "I kept very cool, Harrison," I said. My voice was ice. "I did a needed task. I hold the proof. The slip is right in my pocket." Quiet fell again. Papers moved on his side. "What slip, Arthur?" "A pawn slip," I stated. "City pawn and loan. They wiped the house clean, Harrison. They snatched Margaret's art, her pearls, the birth watch. It was not a random grab. It was a fire sale." Harrison took a sharp breath. "Dear God, Arthur, I feel so bad." "Don't feel bad," I barked. "Be a lawyer. Open a file right now," I said. "Type a crime report. Grand theft over $6,500. Have it ready for Monday dawn. And that is not all." "Arthur, slow down," Harrison said. "He is your son. Crime charges stick. The city steps in. He might see a cell." I squeezed the steering wheel. My knuckles lost color. "He sold his dead mom for $1,500, Harrison. He picked a path. I pick mine now. Write the forms." I did not stop for his plea. "And one more task. Check the trust file." "I have it," he said. "Look at page 14. Part 3, the clawback rule." Pages rustled loud. I knew the words well. I wrote them 6 years ago. I feared Tyler spent cash too fast. It was my worst-case switch. I hoped to never flip it. "I spot it," Harrison whispered. "Arthur, that rule lets you yank back all goods bought with trust cash. If the heir commits crimes or acts vile, switch it on," I told him. "Arthur," Harrison warned. "That means all of it, down payments, couches, his very clothes. If allowance cash bought it, you can snatch it. I know what it means. Turn it on, lock his cards, grab his goods. Let him wake up tomorrow with nothing but sad guilt. My team will start, Harrison said. He sounded tired. He knew not to fight my hard tone. I used it when men built weak walls on my sights. It was the tone of a man ready to wreck a whole build. I was ready to end the call. A loud beep hit my ear. A second call. I pulled the phone back. The glass showed Tyler's name. It did not cheer me up. It did not bring hope. I just felt drained. Hold on, Harrison, I said. The suspect rings. I clicked the line. I gave no greeting. I just heard his breath. Dad, Tyler yelled. His voice went high and wild. It shook with fear. He sounded like a man running fast. Dad, answer me. What did you do? I steered the truck. The road light went from yellow to red. I hit the brake. I am on the road, Tyler, I said coolly. What is it? What is it? He yelled loud. I am at the Royal Crest. The boss just stormed the room. He dragged me from the photo shoot. 2 big guards stand by him. He says the check failed. The wire cash vanished. Dad, he plans to toss us out. He wants $110,000 in hard cash in 25 minutes. If not, the party dies and cops come for theft. I watched the red bulb gleam. Is that true? I asked. Yes, Tyler shrieked. He means it, Dad. Jessica cannot breathe. Her folks are mad too. Their ride skipped DTW Airport. They sit in a slow taxi. Fix this, Dad. Call the bank. Say it was an error. Send the cash back. Guests wait right now. I heard the loud noise behind him. Jessica wept loud. Low voices hummed. A live crash. No error was made, Tyler, I stated. The line went dead quiet. The room sounds grew louder. What? He breathed. I stopped the check, I said. I rang the bank early. I said I did not green light the spend. I pay for family fun. I do not pay for a stage play that locks me out. But the party, Tyler stuttered. The folks, the meals, it is all set. Then foot the bill yourself, I said. With what? He screamed out. You froze my cards, you took my Audi, you locked the doors. I own zero, Dad, zero. I touched my shirt pocket. The slip felt crisp. You hold $1,500, I told him. What? You hold $1,500, Tyler, from City Pawn. Spend that. It will buy small bites. A sharp gasp hit my ear, pure shock. He thought he was slick. Dad, stop, he whispered in fear. Let me talk. We planned to buy it all back. We needed cash for the tip envelopes. We would get it back, I vow. You sold your mom, I said. My tone dropped to a rough growl. You sold her for red roses and lilies. Don't feed me lies. Dad, I beg you, Tyler cried hard now, a sad, loud weep. Do not do this. They will toss us on the curb in front of our pals. I am aware, I said. Dad, I am your blood. Not today, I replied. Today you are just a debtor, and they do not care for sad tales. Dad, wait. I took the phone from my ear. I checked the screen. I hit the red circle. The talk died. Quiet filled my cab. The stoplight flipped green. I hit the gas. The truck roared to the Royal Crest. I did not go to aid him. I did not go to pay. I went to greet the cops Harrison called. I went to hand them a slip and point my hand. I went to a grand party, but I brought no sweet gift. I brought cold payback. I parked my Chevrolet Silverado at the front doors. My ride clashed with the sleek black cars and long limos in the round drive. My tires wore thick mud. The back end bore a dent from 6 years past. Its loud motor chugged and spat. It broke the calm, posh air. The Royal Crest was grand. Tall stone pillars stood high. White stone shone in the bright day. Huge wood doors led inside. It made fake kings feel great for a few short hours. I stopped right on the red rug. I cut the gas. A young valet in a red vest ran up. His face showed pure panic. He waved his arms like he chased off a stray mutt. Sir, no parking here, he said. He hit my glass. This zone is for VIPs. Box drops go in back. The dock stays open till 3. I opened my door and hopped out. The kid took a step back. His eyes went up and down. I wore the navy suit I ironed the prior night. My shoes shined like dark glass. My tie knot looked just right. I wore the fine suit well, but my truck confused him. To him, I was a lost builder seeking a grave site. "I drive no boxes, boy," I told him gently. My voice held 38 years of boss rules. "Leave the truck there." The boy shook his head. "Sir, I dare not. The main boss is very hard. A huge wedding starts in 38 minutes. The Wisniewski bash. If Mr. Carmichael sees this junk, I lose my job." I stared at the boy. He was young and scared. He just did his task. I dug in my pocket. I took out a crisp $100 bill. I shoved it in his palm. "If Carmichael gets mad, tell him Arthur said fine," I said. The boy saw the cash, then my face. He felt lost. "Who is Arthur?" he asked. "You will see soon," I said. I strolled to the tall glass doors. A thick guard blocked my way. He had wide arms, a dark suit, and an ear plug. He crossed his big arms tight. He was no scared valet. He loved to block paths. "Pardon me, sir," he grunted deep. "Can I view your invite?" I halted. I met his hard stare. "I bring no invite," I stated. "Then you stay out," he barked. "Closed party, list names only." "I am the groom's dad," I said. The guard gave a small sneer. His lip twitched just a bit. He viewed my dirty truck on the posh rug. He eyed my scarred hands. "Listen, bud," he said. He dropped the nice talk. "I got the brief. The pair made it very clear. An old pest might try to sneak in. They said block him hard." "Pest?" I asked. "Yes, a pest. Turn around now. Hop in that truck or I call the cops for trespass." I laughed. A dry, rough bark, trespass. Too funny. "I give you one chance to move aside," I warned. The guard stepped near. He loomed tall. "Or what, old guy? You plan to strike me?" "No," I said flat. "I plan to fire you." He laughed real loud. The harsh noise bounced off the tall stone. "Fire me? Who are you? You are nil, just a builder dumped by his own kid. Beat it." I stood firm. I took a deep breath. I peered past him through the glass. Workers ran fast. They carried trays of bubbly. A huge glass lamp hung high. It cost a massive sum. I knew the price. I signed the check for it. "Get Carmichael," I ordered. The guard shook his big head. "I fetch no one. Walk off in 3 ticks." "Get Carmichael," I roared loud. My deep voice burst forth. I used it to steer men over loud drills and wet cement. It asked 0 favors. It forced compliance. The guard jumped. Doubt filled his eyes. He touched his ear plug. "Mr. Carmichael," he mumbled, his eyes locked on mine. "We got a fuss at the main door." He paused. "Yeah, the guy you named. He refuses to go. He wants you out here." He paused to hear. He gave a nod. "Got it." He wore a smug smirk now. "The boss comes. He brings off-duty cops we pay. You face a bad day soon." I stood by. I fixed my neat cuffs. I felt my shirt pocket. The pawn slip sat safe near my heart. Soon the big doors flew wide. Carmichael stormed out. He was tall and slim. His slick hair shone. His fine suit cost more than my ride. He looked a mess. Sweat dripped down. He likely stressed over the missing $110,000 for the head office. 2 cops in uniform flanked his sides. The guard moved away. He waved a hand at me like a caught crook. "Here he stands, Mr. Carmichael," he said. "He left his junk car on the red rug. He threatened my gig. Shall the cops toss him out?" Carmichael froze. He blinked. He stared at the truck. Then he stared at me. He turned pale fast. I thought he might pass out. His jaw dropped. His angry yell died inside him. He did not see a crasher. He did not see a bad dad. He saw his boss. He saw the guy who bought this place 6 years ago. It was a bad hotel then. Now it was the best wedding spot around. He saw the man who ran the board meetings. The man who asked hard questions about costs. "Mr. Wisniewski," Carmichael said. His voice cracked. The guard seemed lost. "Yes, that is his name." "Wisniewski, the dad. Should I throw him out?" Carmichael turned fast. "Be quiet," he hissed. "Shut up now." He faced me again. He fixed his coat. His hands shook. He bowed deep. Chairman Wisniewski, he said. He sounded scared. I did not know you were coming. We did not expect you. Is this a checkup? The guard opened his mouth wide. The cops shared a look. They stepped back. Their hands left their belts. Chairman, the guard said low. I looked at Carmichael. Sweat formed on his lip. Hello, Carmichael, I said. I see you have a money issue with the event today. Carmichael jumped. Yes, sir, a huge mistake. The wire bounced back. We almost canceled the party. The couple is inside. They are stressed. I know, I said. I stopped the wire. Carmichael looked shocked. You stopped it, sir. But why? Because I do not pay for things I do not get, Carmichael, I said. And it seems I am not welcome in my own place. Carmichael looked at the guard. The guard wished he could hide. Sir, Carmichael said. If I had known you were the dad, wow, the groom did not say. Of course not, I said. He is ashamed of me, Carmichael. He thinks I am just an old builder. He does not know I own this site. He does not know I own the top firm too. He thinks you work for a big brand. I stepped up. Carmichael moved back fast. I am going in, Carmichael, I said. Yes, sir, Carmichael said. He ran to open the door. Right this way. Should I clear the room? Should I toss them out? No, I said. Let them stay. I have a wedding to see. I have a speech to make. I walked past the guard. He looked down. He could not look at me. I stopped by him. You did your job, son, I said. You followed rules, but next time check who owns the ground. Then you can tell a man to leave. I went through the doors. Cold air hit me. The lobby was grand. Stone floors, gold on the roof. It was too much and I owned all of it. Music came from the big room. A string group played soft tunes. I heard guests talk. They were all there. Jessica's folks from Boston, Tyler's pals, people who felt they were above me. They drank my wine. They stood on my floor. They cheered for a match built on my cash. They did not know the boss was here for the rent. I walked to the big doors. Carmichael walked fast next to me like a scared dog. Sir, he said low, the cops you asked for, they wait in the office. Good, I said, keep them there. Wait for my sign, sir. When I dropped the mic, I said, that is the sign. I grabbed the door handles, the bright lights cost more than folks make in 8 years. The tables had nice plates and bright forks. The middle pieces were huge red roses and lilies. These blooms were bought with cash from my wife's stolen locket. I stood in the dark by the door. My eyes got used to the bright light. I looked at the crowd. There were so many. Men in nice suits, women in rich gowns. They held fancy glasses and laughed loud. They were the rich class. Tyler wanted to wow them so bad. He hid his dad to do it. Right in the middle on a bright stage stood Jessica. She looked pretty, I knew that. Her dress was grand, made of lace and silk. It cost so much money. She held a mic in one hand. Her free hand sat on her chest. She spoke with a fake shake in her voice. It was so real it made me ill. It is very sad, she said. Her voice rang clear on the great speakers. We wished him here. Tyler is so sad. But you must know his dad fights hard personal issues for a long time. I left the dark. I walked down the middle path. The rug was thick. It hid my steps. Mental health is a quiet fight, Jessica went on. She wiped a fake tear off her face. We tried to help him. We tried to bring him, but he is not the same. He acts wild. He is not safe. So to keep everyone safe, we made a tough call. We left him home to rest. The crowd made sad sounds. Poor Tyler, poor Jessica. Having a mad old man on their big day, I kept walking. I did not rush. I moved fast and strong like a big train. Tyler stood near Jessica. His head hung low in fake pain. He played the sad son so well. He nodded at the quiet crowd. Then he looked up. He saw me. His eyes grew big. His mouth fell open. The sad look left. Total panic took its place. He stepped up to stop me. Then he froze. He saw my strong walk. He saw my firm shoulders. He saw the navy suit that fit me like steel. He poked Jessica. She stopped mid-word. She looked where he looked. She saw me. She turned white. The mic sank in her hand. The room went dead quiet right then. It began up front. The two stood still. The hush moved back like a wave. Soon, everyone turned to see what stopped the bride. The music died in a bad scratch of bows. I did not stop. I walked past Jessica's parents. Her dad, Richard, sat there. I paid $15,000 to fly him here. He stared at me with open lips. A fork full of sea bass stopped in the air. Her mom, Eleanor, glared at me. She looked like she saw a rat on the food. I walked by Tyler's school pals, the ones in cars their folks bought. They stared at me. Who is this old man? Is he a guard? Is he a crasher? I got to the stage steps. Tyler moved. He went to the edge. He held his hands up. Dad, he hissed. His voice was faint near the speakers. Dad, stop, just go back. We can talk. I did not look at him. I looked past him at Jessica. I went up the steps. 1, 2, 3. I stood up there. The bright light hit me. It was so hot. It felt like a cop's lamp. I walked to Jessica. She moved back. She held the mic to her chest like a guard. She looked at Tyler for help, but Tyler could not move. He knew. He knew any move would make it worse. Give me the mic, Jessica, I said. My voice was not loud, but the room was so quiet it spread far. She shook her head. No, she said low, leave, guards, call the guards. There are no guards, Jessica, I said. Well, they work for me. Now give me the mic. I put my hand out. I did not pull it. I kept my hand open. It was an ask and a firm rule. She looked at the crowd. She looked at her folks. She looked at the door. She knew she was stuck. A fight for the mic would make her look mad. A scream would look wild. She had to look pure. She shook, then gave me the mic. I took it. It felt heavy. It felt right in my grip. It felt like real power. I faced the room. I looked at all the people. Lots of folks had judged me on a lie. I hit the mic. Thump, thump. The noise was loud in the big room. It shook the glass lights. Good day, everyone, I said. My voice was deep and firm. It was the voice of a man used to yelling over loud gear. I am sorry for the break. I know you like the talks. I know you like the wine. The year is very good, by the way. I know this well. I picked it out. I saw Carmichael, the boss, near the kitchen doors. He gave a small nod. He did his task. The doors were locked shut. No one could stop this. I am Arthur Wisniewski, I said. And despite what you heard, I fight no demons. I am not mad. I am not a threat unless the truth counts as harm. A gasp filled the room. People moved in their seats. This was not in the plan. This was real life. They paid close mind. I am Tyler's dad. I pointed at my son. He held his head in his hands. He wished the ground would eat him. And why was I not here sooner? Why did I not sit up front like a dad should? It is clear. I stopped talking. I let the quiet grow. I let them guess. I had no invite, I said. The soft talk grew loud. Shock and doubt. Last night I got a text from my son. I said it was a nice text. It said his bride Jessica felt I would cause a fuss. It said since I worked with my hands for 38 years, since I drive a truck, since I wear a denim shirt, I was too common for this party. I was told I would shame them here, shame them near her fancy folks. I stared right at Jessica's folks. Richard put his fork down. Eleanor looked like she ate sour fruit. They said I did not fit in, I said. They said I was not good enough for their happy day. But here is the fun part, the part you all should know. I reached in my coat. I took out a folded page, the print of the bank slip. I opened it slow. The paper made a crisp sound in the quiet. Even if I could not come, I said. I held the page to the light. I was good enough to pay the bill. I read the page loud. Wire sent. Some $110,000 to Royal Crest from Arthur Wisniewski. I put the page down. I bought the wine you drink, I said. I bought the shrimp you eat. I paid the band. I bought the blooms. I own the floor you stand on. I looked at Tyler. He cried now. Tears fell on his cheeks. You sought a grand day, Tyler. I said you wished to be a prince, but you missed a fact. A prince does not send away the king who made the fort. I faced the crowd again. I'm a plain man, I said. My life runs on truth, hard work, and trust. I thought I taught my son those facts. I thought I raised a man, but I raised a leech. The room went wild. Folks spoke low. They pointed. They took pics. Jessica cried hard. She hid her face. But that is not the worst part, I said. My voice got tough. The sad tone left. Cold truth took its place. Because when I stopped that check today, when I chose not to fund my own shame, my son and his wife did not say sorry. They did not beg for grace. They went to my house. They broke in the home I gave them rent-free. They stole from me. I felt my chest pocket. I got the yellow pawn slip. This is a slip from a pawn shop, I said. I held it up. The date is past day. They took the art my dead wife painted. They took her gems. They took the watch I gave her at my son's birth. They took the last real bits of a sweet lady, a lady who loved them deep, and they sold them all. They sold my wife's memory for $1,500 just to buy more blooms for the main table. I pointed at the huge pile of roses back there. Those blooms, I yelled. My voice broke hard. Those blooms cost my wife's soul. The room was dead quiet. Pure dread filled the space. It hung thick like smoke. Even the staff stood still. So no, I said. My voice went to a low sound. It reached the back. I am not ill. I am not mad. I am just a dad who is done paying to be treated like dirt. I looked at Carmichael. I nodded. I let the mic fall. It hit the wood with a loud smack. Boom. The noise ended the talk. It was the sign. The back doors flew open wide. 2 uniformed cops walked in. They did not look like guards. They looked like the real law. Handcuffs hung on their belts. Their faces were stern. They walked down the middle path. The crowd split wide for them. They marched right to the stage. I looked at Tyler. He saw the cops. Then he looked at me. Dad, his lips formed. I turned away. I walked down the stage steps. I walked past the cops. I said no word. I was done speaking. The bill was due. It was time to pay. The quiet in the grand room was thick. You could choke on it. The mic sound still rang on the gold roof. Then Richard, Jessica's dad, stood up. He shoved his seat back. It made a bad squeak like nails on a board. His face was dark purple. It was the shade of a guy used to paying off trouble. Now he found his wallet bare. He thrust a shaky finger at me. "Officer," he yelled. He tried to sound strong, but he had no real power. "Officer, take this man out now. He does not belong here. He bothers my child. He is sick in the head. This is a closed family feast. He ruins it." I looked at Richard. I looked at his $3,900 suit. The buttons were tight. I looked at his gold watch. It likely cost more than my first home, and I felt blank. No fear, no respect, just the clear view of a man who saw their bad credit files. I stepped off the stage floor. I did not walk to the door. I walked to Richard. The cops stopped to wait. They knew who called. They knew who the victim was. I stopped by Richard's table. I put my hands on the white cloth. I leaned close. I could smell liquor on him. "Sit down, Richard," I said. He blinked fast. He was shocked by my rule. "Excuse me," he said. "Sit down," I said again. "Or do you want me to tell the cops about the fake firm in Nevada? Or the 3 fraud cases in Boston? Or that the Martha's Vineyard house was taken by the bank 7 months ago?" Eleanor gasped hard. She held her fake pearls. "How dare you?" she hissed. "That is a lie. Is it, Eleanor?" I asked, looking at her face. "Is it false that you filled your last card to buy flight seats? Is it false that you pray your girl marries rich, so she can lift you from your deep debt?" The room went still as death once more. The folks who whispered of me now stared at the bride's parents. They looked at them with fresh shock. The fake shell cracked wide. The gold paint peeled back. The ugly rot showed plain. "You see," I went on. My voice met the nearby tables. I did my research. When my boy said his bride was rich, I checked. A smart businessman does that. And guess what I found? Just smoke and tricks. I found a family as poor as my son, just in better suits. Jessica let out a choked cry on stage. "Stop it," she yelled. "Stop talking." I turned to her again. She shook so much the dress lace moved. She looked like a caged beast. "We are not done, Jessica," I said. "Not quite yet." I reached in my coat once more. I took out the pawn slip. I kept it out. I flipped it around. Pinned on the back was a small slip. Pink thin paper, you see, I said. I held it high. The pawn shop keeps great records. When you sell stolen stuff, they check your ID. And if you buy stuff too, they pin the slips as one. I walked back to the stage. The cops fell in step behind. They flanked me like guards. Tyler stared at the floor. He could not look at me. He could not look at Jessica. He grew tiny. He hid inside himself. But Jessica stared at the paper in my hand. Her eyes stuck wide on the pink slip. She knew the truth. I climbed the steps one last time. I stood by her. I looked at her gown. It was a grand thing. Layers of white silk, nice lace, a long back pulled like a soft cloud by her feet, a true princess dress. It is a nice gown, Jessica, I said. She stayed quiet. She breathed in fast gasps. It must have cost a lot, I went on. I read the pink slip. $5,800, I read aloud. Cash put down past day at noon at the dress shop on Woodward Avenue. The last sum to free the dress from fixes. I looked at the crowd. My boy said Jessica got this dress months back, I said. He said her folks paid. That was a lie. Her folks cannot buy a small meal. Richard made a grunt, but he did not rise. He stayed in his seat, beat down. So from where did the money come? I asked loud. Where did two kids with no jobs and bad banks get $5,800 cash past day? I held the pawn slip up. They got it at the pawn shop, I said. I looked at Jessica. I looked at the bright gems in her ears. I looked at the band on her wrist. They sold my wife's true love ring, I said. My voice cracked now. The ring I gave in 1982. The ring she wore for 32 years. They stole it from the wall safe. They forced it open and took it out. A big gasp went through the space. This was a deep wrong. All saw it, not mere theft. It was a dark sin. And they sold it. I yelled loud. They sold 38 years of wedded life. They sold the sign of my life with Margaret. And do you know what they bought? I aimed a shaky finger at Jessica. They bought a dress, a cheap suit for a liar. Jessica looked down at her clothes. She stared at the silk like it was hot fire. She tried to step back, but she tripped on the long cloth. She fell against Tyler's arm to stay up. "Get off me," Tyler hissed. He pushed her off. The move shocked all. The groom pushed his bride away. Jessica fell back. "You knew," she yelled at him. "You drove the car. You waited out there. Do not act innocent." "I did not know you sold the ring," Tyler yelled back. His face was red and mad. "You said it was just old silver. You said the ring was safe. You lie," she screamed sharp. "You needed cash as bad as I did." "Stop it," I said. The words sliced their fight like a blade. I turned to the cops. "Officers," I said, "I am Arthur Wisniewski. I own the place on Maple Avenue. I own the things on this pawn slip. These two broke in my house. They took goods worth over $65,000. They sold them to a bad shop in town. I gave the slips to the old cop. He was a gray boss. His face had seen too much bad stuff in life. He checked the papers. He checked the dates. He saw the names. Tyler Wisniewski and Jessica Davenport, he read loud. "Yes," I said, "that is them. I want to press charges. The full hard law." The old cop nodded. He stepped up. He reached for his belt. "Tyler Wisniewski, Jessica Davenport." He spoke loud and strict. "You are under arrest for grand theft, break-in, and selling stolen goods." The cuffs made a sharp metal noise coming out. Click, click. Tyler's knees failed. He fell on the stage floor. He cried, "Dad, no, Dad, please, not here, not in front of them all. Stand up, boy." The cop said it firm. He grabbed Tyler's arm. He pulled him up fast. "Put your hands in back." Tyler looked at me. His eyes begged hard. "Dad, stop this. I will pay you back. I will work hard. I will do all. Tell them to halt." I looked at him. I looked at the boy I once held up. The kid I taught to ride a bike. The son I kept safe from the hard parts of the world. Then I knew. Keeping him safe was the worst thing I ever did. "You cannot pay me back, Tyler," I said soft. "The ring is gone. The art is gone. The trust is dead. You stand on your own now. The cop spun him back. He locked the cuffs on Tyler's wrists. The noise was clear and final. It was the sound of a life splitting in two. The before and the after. Jessica fought back. She tried to run, but her dress was too heavy. The next cop caught her quick. She yelled loud. She kicked and clawed. "My dress," she cried out. "You ruined my dress." "It is not your dress," the cop said. He spun her fast. "It is proof." He cuffed her tight. She stood there. She breathed hard. Dark makeup ran down her cheeks. She looked at her folks in the front row. "Daddy, help me," she wailed. "Do something." Richard looked at her. Then he looked at me. Then he looked at the cops. He picked up his cloth. He wiped his mouth neat. He did not stand. He said 0 words. He knew the truth. If he made a fuss, the next cuffs might be for him. The cops marched the two across the stage. They took them down the steps. The sad walk took a long, long time. The crowd split in hush. They watched the bride and groom get hauled off, not to a love suite but to a cop car. The white dress swept the floor. It picked up dirt. A pure sign dragged in the dark mud they made. I stood on the stage all alone. The room was still. No one stirred. No one talked. They waited for me to speak more, to say sorry, to clear it up, to break the stiff air, but I had no more words. I looked at Carmichael. He was pale but stood tall. He knew who signed the pay. "Clear the room, Carmichael," I said. "The party is done." Carmichael nodded fast. He gave signs to his staff. I walked down the steps. I did not look at the void where my son stood. I did not look at the sad mom of the bride. I walked down the middle path. My steps felt slow and heavy. I felt old. I felt worn out. But I also felt light. The deep mass of the secret, the heavy ache of letdown, it was all gone. I walked through the main doors to the lobby. I walked out the front gate. The cop cars sat there. Red and blue lights flashed hard on the white stone. They shoved Tyler in the back of one car. Jessica went in the next. I did not stop to watch. I walked to my truck. It still sat on the red carpet. It looked bold, ugly, and true. I climbed up inside. I fired the motor. I put it in gear and drove off. I did not look in the back mirror. I had no need. I knew what lay behind, just ruins and mess. But the road ahead was wide and clear, and for the first time in an age it was mine. The pale lights in the jail room buzzed loudly. It bored right into my skull. It was far from the soft music and glass lights of an hour past. Here there was no wine. There were no blooms, just gray block walls, a steel desk stuck to the floor, and the sharp smell of soap trying to hide the stink of fear and sweat. I sat on a hard chair, my back straight. My hands lay flat on the desk. I watched the heavy door. I waited. At last, a guard brought Tyler in. I barely knew him. The neat suit from the stage was now a crumpled mess. The neck was open. The tie was gone. His face was red and splotchy. His eyes puffed shut from tears. He did not walk like a man. He dragged his feet. His shoulders bent low, like he tried to shrink and vanish. He sat across from me. The guard locked his wrist to the desk ring. The clink of metal was loud in the small space. Tyler looked up. He saw me and his face broke down. He looked like he was 6 years old again, just a boy with a scraped knee on the walk. "Dad," he choked. "Oh God, Dad, thanks for coming here. Please get me out. It is a bad dream. A man in the cell yells nonstop. I cannot stay here. I cannot." I said nothing. I just looked at him. I sought the pride he showed in my drive before. Today I looked for the bold sneer he had when he changed my locks. It was all gone. It burned up the exact second the cuffs clicked. "Dad," Tyler said. He leaned close as the short chain led him. "You must pay my bail. The lawyer says it is set at dawn. Just pay it, please. I will pay you back. I vow I will get a job. I will do all you ask. Just get me out." I leaned back in my seat. The cold metal pressed my spine. "I'm not here to post your bail, Tyler," I said. He froze still. His jaw dropped open. "What?" "I am here to say farewell," I said. "Farewell?" He stuttered out. "Dad, what do you mean? You cannot leave me here." "I can," I said, "and I will, but—" "It was not my fault," he blurted. Words fell out fast in sheer fear. It was Jessica. You know her, Dad. She craves status. She pushed me hard. She said we needed cash for the wedding. She said you would not miss the gems. She said the art was just old junk. I tried to stop her, Dad. I swear it. I told her it was bad, but she did not listen. She made me do it. I listened to him toss his wife in the dirt. The lady he swore to love just 3 hours ago. Now she was just an excuse. He would burn her down to save his own neck, just like he burned me to save face with rich folks. It was sad to see. It was the most weak thing I ever saw. Stop, I said. He stopped short, panting hard. Do you hear your own words? I asked. You are a grown man, Tyler. You are 30 years old. You sit here and claim a girl forced you to steal from your dad. You tell me you have no guts, no clear will, no real honor. I loved her, he whispered very soft. You did not love her, I said. You loved the thought of her. You loved that she made you feel grand. You loved my cash since it bought her look. But true love is not theft, Tyler. And vows are not a plot to commit big theft. Dad, please, he cried. He buried his face deep in his hands. I am sorry. I am so sorry. I messed up. I know I failed. But jail, Dad, I cannot do jail. I am not made for this. I looked at him long. He was right. He was not made for it. He was too soft. He was weak. He never had to fight for a single thing in his life. I fought all his wars for him. I made his path smooth as glass. He never learned to walk on rough rocks. That was my deep fault. That was the one true crime I did. That is exactly why you must stay here, I said. He looked up fast. Tears dripped off his chin. Why do you hate me? He whispered. I do not hate you, I said. I love you. That is the sad part of this. I love you enough to let you fall hard. I stood up. The chair scraped on the stone floor. For 30 years I kept you safe, I said. I looked down at him. I blocked out the hard results. I paid your bills. I fixed your errors. Look at what it built. It built a thief. It built a sad liar. It built a man who sold his mom's memory for a table flower. Dad, no, I do you a big favor, Tyler, I said. I give you the one thing I never gave you yet, cold reality. There is no soft net now. There is no check coming to save you. There is just you and the hard law. But Jessica, he cried loud. What of Jessica? Jessica is in the cell block down the hall, I said. And if she is sharp, she blames you right now, just like you blamed her. You two deserve each other. I turned to the thick door. Dad, wait, Tyler yelled. He pulled at the chain. Dad, do not walk away, please. I am scared. I paused with my hand on the knob. I looked back one last time. You should be scared, I said. Growing up is full of fear, but it is the only way you will survive now. I knocked hard on the steel door. The guard pushed it open from out there. Dad, Tyler shouted. His voice broke in a loud sob. Dad, come back. I stepped out in the hall. The door shut fast behind me. It cut off his sad cries with a heavy clank. I stood there to listen to the quiet space. It was heavy. It brought deep pain. It felt like I cut my own arm off. But it also felt right. I walked down the hall by the main desk, past the cops sipping on hot brew. I walked out in the cool night air. The city buzzed with bright lights and sirens. The world kept on spinning. I walked to my truck. I got right in. I sat for a long time. I just stared at the steering wheel. I lost my boy today, but maybe, just maybe, in a few years' time, when he walks out those gates, a real man might walk out instead. And if he does, it will be worth every cent of the $110,000 I saved. I fired up the engine. I put the truck in gear. I drove away from the jailhouse. I left my boy behind to learn life's hardest rule. Hard school was in session. It took 38 days to wash the stain of lies off my life. 38 days of lawyer talks, fast ink, and quiet. The silence was the worst part at the start. The phone did not ring at all. No texts begged for cash. No wild calls over broken pipes or maxed out cards. For a week I checked the screen each hour out of pure habit. But by week 2 I quit checking. By week 3 I saw the quiet was not a void. It was real peace. I went to the pawn shop on Monday after the big event. The owner, a guy named Sal, looked at me with deep fear and respect when I came in. He saw the news. All the folks saw it. I slapped the pawn ticket on the desk with a thick stack of big bills. I did not haggle, I did not fight the fees, I just wanted my life back. Sal brought the items from his safe, Margaret's pearls, the gold watch, and the art pieces. I pulled the wrap off the lake house canvas. I ran my thumb on the dry paint. I felt the rough strokes my wife made 18 years ago. They were safe. They were home now. But I did not take them to my old house. My house was much too quiet. I was done living in a dusty museum of old times. I took the gems to a high-end bid house. I took the paintings to a local art shop. I did not want the cash. I had plenty of cash. I wanted the feel of life to change. I sold the house on Maple Avenue 4 days later. It went to a young pair, a car fixer and a nurse. They walked in the front door and looked at it like a king's fort. They did not ask for new parts. They did not gripe about old sinks. They just held hands and talked of where to put the baby's bed. I sold it to them for 10% under full market price, just because I liked the rough skin on the man's hands. When the check for the home cleared and the bid house wired the funds for the gems, I took every single red cent. I made a new bank fund, the Margaret Wisniewski Scholarship Fund. It was for kids who wish to go to trade school, kids who want to learn to weld, how to fix pipes, how to build things to last. It was the best use of cash I ever did. Now I sat in seat 1A of an Airbus A350. The leather was soft, much softer than the hard seats in my truck. The cool air smelled of pure breath and costly scent. Mr. Wisniewski, a flight staff, asked. She leaned over with a bottle in a clean white cloth. "Would you like a glass of fine wine before we lift off?" I looked at the glass bottle. Crystal, the same brew that went flat on the counter in the house my boy ruined. I smiled wide. "Yes," I said, "I would love one." She poured the gold drink into a tall glass. The bubbles danced fast. They rushed to the top to break free. I took the fine glass. It felt very light in my grip. I looked out the small window. The paved yard was busy. Baggage carts and fuel trucks moved about. Men in bright vests did the hard work that makes the world spin. Past the DTW grounds, the city of Detroit spread out in a huge grid of gray and green. Somewhere down there in a county jail, my son waited for a court date. He learned to make his own bed now. He learned that deeds have heavy weight and speed. I did not feel mad anymore. The deep rage that drove me on the wedding day burned all out. It left behind a clean slate. I did my job. I raised him up. I gave him what he needed. And when he lost his way, I set him straight. The rest was on him now. The plane pushed back from the gate. The huge engine spun up to a loud roar. The sound shook the floor under my feet. I took a sip of the bubbly drink. It was cold and sharp. It tasted like a pure win. Not a win of beating down someone else, but a win of taking back your own life. I reached in my pocket and got my phone. I looked at the glass face one last time. No missed calls. No unread texts. I held the power key down. The screen went dead black. I put the phone in my bag